Welcome to the Learning Lab Player Edition. This is a safe space for you to come and ask questions about the American Mah Jongg game using the National MAHJLIFE rules. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below the video if you're watching the repost. You could always put it in the live stream chat if you're joining us live. I also want to say thank you to our channel moderators before we get started. Thank you very much for helping monitor the chat today. We're going to be doing gameplay with commentary at I Love Maj, and we're going to focus on the Charleston. We're going to focus on mitigating risk. So that means defensive passing. Before you get to defensive passing, you got to identify the strength of the hand and figure out what category you're going to focus on. First starting point anyway. So that's what we're going to focus on today. I do want to check with everybody in the chat to see if there are any questions. Otherwise, we'll get started. I don't see any questions right now. You can ask anything about the game that you like, whether it be the rules, skills, sportsmanship, etiquette, strategies. Did I already say strategies? Oh, and also, if you haven't already done so, join the Learning Lab on Facebook. If you use Facebook, because that is a private group where instructors are ready to answer any questions you may have. We do this live stream for those who don't use Facebook, but also people who are maybe visual learners or they just prefer YouTube to Facebook. So you've got options. Options are a good thing. Welcome. Hello, Tracy. Nice to see you. So we're going to focus on the Charleston. Specifically mitigating risk. So I'll go ahead and get started. I just realized I had schmutz on my hand. Okay, no questions. So let's get started with the Charleston. We're going to use this right here. I've already got it ready. Now we're going to, since we're focusing on the Charleston, we're going to do a couple of rounds of Charleston modeling, and we're going to use the exercise room. We'll play with robots in a little bit. I think we could do at least 2 rounds of Charleston practice, and then maybe a few games with robots. So let's go ahead and launch the Charleston practice. Okay, so we have, I like playing with the level 3 bot, and then we got the 2025 card. We're going to start the exercise. That's a little bit loud, I think, here. Oops. Yes. Okay, so now let's sort by suit. Now we have our tiles in a nice order here. We have a flower, a north, a white dragon, 2 BAM, 3 BAM, 9 BAM, pair 2, and then we have 1, 4, 6, 8 in cracks, singles, and then a 2, 7, 8 in dots. So with these tiles, what would you target and what category would you focus on? So it's a 2-step process. What would you target? And what category would you focus on? I think I know what I would do here. We have 3 clear discards either way, so I know what I would do in this case. I'll give you a minute to figure that out. Well, not a minute, seconds, a few seconds. All right, if these were my tiles, I would target the 2 BAM pair. American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. A multiple is a identical tile, pair pong kong, quint. So with American Mah Jongg, that's one of the biggest nuances of the game. Every hand uses multiples. It's just a matter of how big they get. So if you start with the end in mind, that would mean targeting multiples. So the 2 bam is our target. And then we can look at the rest of the tiles and figure out which category will use most of our tiles. And I think it would be evens right now, but it could change if we get 3s, because we do have 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. We do have a 6 and 2 8s. So I would consider evens. So 2 bam is the target, evens is the category. So let's go ahead and find clear discards. We're going to hold the 3, we're going to hold the 4, 6, 8 in cracks, and then we're going to hold the 2, 8 in dots. We're not going to pick a hand. You don't have to pick a hand when you have discards, and we've got lots of discards. One of the things I was thinking about is this white dragon. I was thinking, could we maybe do a year hand if we get a 5? But that would be a long shot because we have no 5. Anytime you have a gap, that would be a long shot. So try not to waste too much time on that idea because it may never come in. It would just be fruitless. We want you to be fruitful, not fruitless. Okay, so now we have 4 clear discards. We have north, 1 crack, 7 dot, 9 bam. So now this is where the mitigating risk comes in, because we're giving tiles to our opponents. We want to not only focus on our own hand, that's the offense part of the game, but we also want to focus on what we're giving away in the Charleston to our opponents, and that is defense. So there's both offense and defense in this game. So how can we pass 3 tiles that would be as benign as possible? I'm thinking the north, and then a little and a big. 2 suits. Now, I think it's arbitrary which one we pass because the 7 is a big number too. And I think either one would be fine, either the 7 or the 9. The other thing I was thinking is, well, maybe we could keep the 7 because we could do 6, 7, 8, 9, but we've got that 2 bam pair. Remind yourself to target the multiple and let that drive. That should drive the hand, not the 7, 8, 9 run. That should not drive the hand, even though we have, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles. The 2 bam pair carries strength. It's heavier, it's weight, it's got weight to it compared to single tiles because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. So we're gonna let's just let the 7 go. 1, 7 north. Okay, here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8. It looks like everyone's in agreement with evens. Okay, now here we picked up a 2, and look, we got a 5. We picked up a 5. We could maybe do a year hand. Here's a 3. So we have 3, 9, 7. We do have 2, 4, 6, 8 in 1 suit. 2, 4, 6, 8 in 1 suit, maybe a year hand. We've got 2 bam pair, 2 dot single, 5 dot there. What if we pass the 8 dot, 3 bam 7? Instead of 7, 8, 9, we'll give up the 3. There's an even in there. We have 2, 4, 6, 8 in 1 suit. And that points to a couple of hands we could do, maybe the 4th hand down or maybe the concealed hand. We do have a flower, so we might be able to use that. And then, of course, we could always try for a year hand as well. Another 5 came in and a 6. So we have 2 clear discards. We need to let something go. This 6 bam. We have 2 bam 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 in 1 suit, and year tiles. Now, I think what I would do is let the 6 go, but this is a little bit risky If we're trying to mitigate risk, that right there is not mitigating risk, because we could maybe give up a 5 year tiles. We actually have some potential for the big year hand here. 2-2, 2-5, 2-5 dragon. Okay, so let's do this. Let's let the 6 crack go. It's a single tile. We can recover later because we might be able to play that big year hand, the biggest hand on the card, last hand under singles and pairs. We got a 2. We did pick up 6-8, but really the 6 crack is the one we want. We have like numbers with 8s. You know what? Let's see here. We need a white dragon, 5 bam, 2 crack. I think I'd go for the big hand or like numbers with 2s. We're going to do that. So we're going to pivot from evens to like numbers with 2s or the big year hand, the big year hand. Oh, look, the 6 came back. Okay, that's fine. We can pass 3-8-6. 3-8-6. No keepers. Okay, we have 5 discards right now, which is fine. Let's pass 1-6-9. 1-6-9. That's not too bad. Okay, no keepers. We have tiles we can pass. North 6-8. As the Charleston progresses, your passes are going to be riskier if you get keepers. So it's okay if your passes are risky. You just want to mitigate the risk as much as you can. Okay, so we ended up with 5 discards and a pretty good attempt at gathering for the big hand. There's a year block. We've got 2-5 and a pair of 2s and a flower. So that would be the last hand under singles and pairs. I think that went pretty well. So let's do this. We're going to play with the same tiles. And this time, let's force an even hand. And we'll ignore the year tiles and see if we have a different outcome. So we're gonna replay with the same tiles. This is one of the great features at I Love Maj. So let's replay. Let's see, TJ, you might want to pull the little red dot at the bottom of the video forward because I think you might be behind the live stream. We're going to do this again and we're going to focus on evens, and we're not going to pick a hand. We're going to just focus on gathering for the category because there are a lot of hands in there we could maybe play. So we're not going to pick a hand. We're just going to gather until we run out of discards. You don't need to pick a hand until you have to make a decision for passing where you maybe need to sacrifice a keeper. So let's go ahead and see how we do with evens. So since we're focusing on evens specifically, let's pass the north, and then let's pass the 1 crack and the 7 dot. I think that's what we did the first time. Okay, now we got a 2. There's the 2 crack. We're going to focus on even. So let's pass maybe the 9 and then the 5 and the 3. So we've got almost all evens. We have a white dragon there. And we've got, here's an east, 5. All right, now we have all evens plus the dragon. Passing a white dragon with a 5 is a little bit risky. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, pair 2 bam. I think what I would do here is keep the dragon and pass the 8 bam, because we could maybe play the 4th hand down. And this is where you would want to look at the card and maybe identify a hand where you have no gaps. because we are sacrificing a keeper. When you get to the point of sacrificing a keeper, that's when you want to whittle out your options. So I wouldn't want to pass 2 wins. I think that's almost as risky as passing a pair. We wouldn't want to pass the year tile with a white dragon, because that would fit right into that year category for anybody playing that. And there are year hands under wins as well. So I wouldn't want to pass that. So one of the 8s probably needed to go, whether it be the 8 bam or the 8 dot, either one would go. As a matter of fact, maybe we could keep the 8 bam and pass the 8 dot. I think it's 6 one, half dozen the other, really. So here we go. We're going to pass now. Okay, so now we have 2, 6, 8 here. You know what I was just thinking? Maybe we could play the 2, 4, 6, 8 pair hand. Here's the 2 bam pair, though. I would want to target that. We have 2 clear discards. We have 2, 4, 6 crack pair, 8 crack. Then we have 2, 6, 8 in dots and a pair of 2 bams. So 2 clear discards, north and probably that 8 bam. Now let's see here, 2, 6, 8. We do have the second hand down on the right, addition. And I always have to put in my ew there because I really don't like addition hands. But we do have 2 bam, 6 crack, 8 dot. 2 bam, 6 crack, 8 dot. So we have a few options here. We could play the concealed hand under evens. We could play the 4th hand down under evens, or the 2nd hand down on the right. 2, 4, 6, 8 concealed with 2s, or 2, 4, 6, 8 singles with 2s, or 2 bam, 6 crack, 8 dot addition, and give up this 6 dot. So we're sacrificing a tile. Now we could maybe consider the pair hand, but we need dragons. We only have 1. I'd just let it go. Okay, we got an 8 crack pair now. 8 crack pair, and we do have tiles we can pass. I'd let this dragon go with the south and an 8. And probably I'd focus on the concealed hand. Concealed evens. Okay, no keepers, and we have tiles we can pass. No problem at all there. Okay, there we go. So here's our hand. Oh, wait, we're going to go across. We have 3 tiles we can pass. Now, they are all odd, so it's going to be a little bit risky, but I would risk it because we have a pretty strong hand. No gaps for the concealed hand, and we could still maybe play the 4th hand down. Okay, we did pick up a 6 dot, but it's really not gelling with the rest of these tiles. I think we have 2 really good options, the 4th hand down and the concealed hand. This had a better result, but the other one was a 75-point hand. This is a 30-point hand. I think it's exciting if you have an opportunity to play the big hand, to go for it. But this right here is a really good result. We need a 2 crack, 4 crack. We have 4 discards. I'd say we'd be a contender for this hand if we played it out. What do you guys think about the Charleston and mitigating risk? Do you pass defensively, or do you just focus on your own hand and that's it? Do you pay attention to what you pass? Do you ever cringe at what you pass? Do you ever cringe at what comes in from somebody else? I pass defensively. I cringe when I pass out. Well, I do cringe when I pass out, but I cringe when I pass risky tiles, and I cringe when I get tiles from an opponent that is risky. Like someone passing 2 winds or 2 dragons or like numbers or a pair or 2 pairs of winds and a wind. Sometimes you get some pretty crazy passes, and it can near about knock you out of your seat. You need to pay more attention of what you pass. Passing defensively, but the group you play with doesn't usually. Yeah. And that is really challenging when you, let me just go full screen real quick, because one of the elements of luck in the game, in my opinion, is who you play with, because you have no control over that. If you play with people who play differently than you, so for example, like Abby said, that she plays defensively, especially passing during the Charleston, but the people she plays with do not. And what that means is if they're passing risky tiles to you, then you know that they're going to do the same with your opponents, which means your opponents could be receiving gifts and they could be developing their hands because of those gifts, just like you. So on the other hand, if you play with people who all play defensively and they mitigate risk, there's always going to be a level of risk in there. But if you play with people who mitigate the risk in passes, then it's going to be a more challenging process of gathering keepers, because those players are mindful to mitigate the risk in their passes. Sometimes they'll even break up their hand to not pass risky tiles. So that affects or impacts the dynamic of the game, which can manifest itself in your hand development transformation. So think about that and watch the way people are passing. If you play with people who are passing defensively, take your defense up a notch. If you're playing with people who are, let's just call it what it is, reckless, or they're just playing casually and they don't care about risk, then you could do the same, unless it's just part of your nature, which is, it's mine. My nature is to pass defensively. So one of the things you could do the next time you play with people who have different playing styles than you, play like they do and just see what it feels like. See how it changes the dynamic of the game. It's an interesting experience, and you can see how that little change it affects the flow of the game. So give it a try and let me know what you think about that. Could you focus on the defensive pass? Yes. You always wonder if you get gifts from experienced players. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do this again, and we're going to talk about defense again. So let me go back to the screen here. So here's another hand. We have northeast, red, white. We do have a flower there. Then we have 8, 9 in BAMs, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 in cracks with a pair of 7s and a 5 dot. So if these were your tiles, what would you target and which category would you focus on? I'll give you a minute to think about it. And I am predicting what somebody is going to say in here. I already know. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spill the beans, and I don't want to, what do you call it? I forget what the term is. Spoiler alert, I guess. But I know what somebody's thinking in here. Personally, I would not play that hand, but I know what I'm going to see. I predict it. So Tracy would target the 7 crack pair. I would also. I would target the 7. Consecutive run line 5. Yep, we have no gaps for that hand. That's not the one I predicted, but that's a good one because we've got no gaps. So there's 5, 6, 7 dragon, flower. So that's one way to go, picking a specific hand, which is, it's not necessarily a good thing. You don't want to pick a hand right away. You want to just stay flexible. Another thing we could maybe do is some kind of 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a hand right there. 6, 7, crack, 8, 9, bam. I was thinking that somebody was going to say odds with news. Third hand from the bottom on the right. And that I would not do because we have no 7 bam. So I would let the northeast go, not together. I'd break it up. So these would be our discards right here. Dragon, northeast, 2, 3, 5. I'd probably keep this 5 dot because it is in our range. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. So the 7 crack is the target. The category is consecutive run. So now we have tiles we can pass. So we have 2 cracks, little numbers, 2 wins, northeast, and a white dragon. So how do we mitigate risk here? Does anybody want to say what they would pass with these tiles? And we'll talk about how to mitigate risk with those tiles right there, the 5 on the right. I know what I would do. Let me know which 3 of the 5 you would pass. Hi, Dana. Which 3 tiles would you pass? North, 2 crack, soap. Okay, interesting. 3 east and then something. Okay, Tracy, yep. So Tracy, that's kind of 3 east soap. Jackie, that's exactly what I would do. 3 east soap. And the reason why I would pass the 3 and not the 2 is because 2, 0 are your tiles. 3 white are not as usable together. Although you can play hands with those tiles, but it's not going to be as easy as a 2 with a white dragon. So 2 white dragon would be your tiles. And actually, if someone happens to be playing one of the 2 lines, second hand from the bottom under wins, they might be very happy to get a wind with a 2 and a 0 there. So that's what I would pass. And we're going to target again the 7 crack, and we're focused on consecutive run. There is some potential here for odds, big odds. So let's see what happens. So we picked up a 9 crack and a 9 bam. So now we have 2 wins and a 2 crack. So we do have 3 clear discards, but we have 2 wins. 2 wins, passing 2 wins is almost as risky as passing a pair. So I would not do that. I would pass the 2 and the north, and then I would sacrifice a tile. So that's when you would want to look at the card and pick a hand. When you get to that point of needing to sacrifice a keeper, that's when you pick a hand to whittle out options that are weaker. You want to find the strongest option and then whittle out tiles for the weaker options. We have a hand in here. We actually have 2 hands with no gaps. We could do 5, 6, 7, red dragon with the flower, 5th hand down under consecutive run, or we could do 5, 7, 9 dragon, 3rd hand down on the right. Now we do have a 9 bam pair. So we could maybe keep the 9 bam pair because American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. I would keep the 9 bam pair. We have 3 discards that we could maybe let go of here. So I would not pass a 2 with a 5 because those are both year tiles. I think what I would do is let the 8 go. I think the 2, 8 is better for passing than a 2, 5. because the 2-5 would be good for the year category. The 2-8 could be used in the even category, but evens, I think it's kind of a 6-1 half dozen the other here. I think they're going to have equal risk, year tiles or evens. Because if you look at the year category, you have 2s and a 5, and there are 4 hands there plus 2 in the wind category. So there are only 6 hands that you could play, whereas in the even category, you have a lot more. So we could maybe pass the 5 dot instead of the 8, but I try not to pass year tiles together. North goes with odds. Well, the thing about North is the North goes with odds. Oh, so you're saying, yeah, like we wouldn't pass the West because East and West goes with evens, but that's only one hand. One hand out of all of these hands on the card. So I don't worry about that as much, but if you have other tiles, then yes. So like pass North with evens, West with odds if you can, but I wouldn't cringe if I had to pass a West with evens. Okay, so let's pass these 3. You know what? Hold the phone. We have 6, 7, 8, 9 here. 6, 7, crack, 8, 9, bam. Using 2 multiples. Let's let the 5 go. A little bit risky. Okay, we picked up a West pair. Anytime you develop a new multiple, you want to reassess. In this case, it doesn't help us. It's not gelling with most of our tiles. We have several options here with no gaps. We could play 5, 6, 7 dragon for 5th hand down under a consecutive run. We could play the 2nd hand down on the right, 6, 7, crack, 8, 9, bam. Or we could play 5, 7, 9 dragon, 3rd hand down on the right under odds. So that's 3 different hands that we could potentially play here. So I'd break up the West and pass the 4 and the dragon. And I think it's okay to pass a wind with a dragon. That does not make me cringe. Does that make anybody else cringe? Not me. Not so much. There's 2 hands that use winds and dragons together. 2 out of 70 hands, that's not a big deal. 4th hand down under winds and the concealed hand. We mitigated the risk as best we could while still focusing on our hand. So I think that's the best we can do. Okay, we picked up a 7 dot and we have 3 tiles to pass. So we're going to keep going. Okay, now we have only 3 discards and then we have 3 different hands we could play. So at the moment, 3 discards and the rest are keepers. So we may be forced to pick a hand after this pass. Okay, we picked up a 7, bam. That's an interesting tile because now we could play 5, 7, crack, 7, 9, bam. We have 2 clear discards. This is when you pick a hand because now we have all keepers. We need to sacrifice a keeper for this across pass. So I would look at our strongest option first. And that would you use both multiples, 7 crack, pung, 9 bam pair. So that means either 6, 7 crack, 8, 9 bam, or 5, 7 crack, 7, 9 bam. Either way, we didn't use the red dragon and we didn't use the 9 crack. So by process of elimination, look at the strength of the hand, look at your options, and then let the weak ones go. The weakest hand is 5, 7, 9 dragon. So that's what I would let go of. So these will go away. The dragon and the 9. Now we could pass the 9 bam. We have a 3, 9, and 1 suit. We could also maybe let that dragon go Although we could maybe play even this 5, 6, 7 dragon with the flower. Let's let the 9 crack go. I think this is going to be risky regardless. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9 is what you were thinking. 6, 7, 8, 9. Are you thinking the 6, 7 crack, 8, 9 bam? We have the same potential with 5, 7, 7, 9. Same shape, pung kong, pung kong. Okay, no keepers. East, green, 4. That was our pass from earlier. We got a keeper, 9 bam. All right, so now, since we have a pung of 9s, I'd let this dragon go, but I would not pass 2 dragons. We have either 5, 7, 7, 9, or 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 7, 7, 9. Either way, the 5 and the 7 are pungs. In the 5 crack 7 bam are pungs. The 7 crack 9 bam are kongs. For 6, 7, 8, 9, same thing. 6 crack pung, 7 crack kong, 8 bam pung, 9 bam kong. I think I would pass 2. And I would not pass a flower, by the way. That would probably be my first discard. Okay, so we ended up with 4 discards and 2 hands with no gaps. Now, someone might want to just pick one of those hands and break up to pass fully, but I would want to wait because we have equal potential, and I'd want to wait to see which one comes in. Yeah. We maybe could have gone with either 6, 7, 8, 9 or 5, 7, 7, 9 and let the other one go and get a full pass, but we maybe would have gotten 1 tile. I think I'd rather keep my options open and see what comes in and what goes down. Okay, any comments there? We're gonna go ahead and play with the robots now. I hope you found it helpful doing that Charleston modeling. Let's go ahead and play a full game now. We might be able to get in 2 games. So we're going to play with robots, full game. We're still going to focus on defensive passing. We have a pair of flowers. Then we have south, green, red, singles, 1, 5 in bams, pair 5, 5, 7, 9 in cracks, singles, 6, 8 in dots with a pair of 6s. If these were your tiles, what would you target and which category would you focus on? I'll give you a minute to think about it. I already know what I would do. If you train yourself to target multiples, figuring out what to go for is easy. It is an easy task if you train yourself to target the strength of the hand. When you wrote that, you didn't have the 7 bam. Oh, okay. So we have 5 bam pair, 6 dot pair. Those are consecutive numbers. So I would play consecutive run. Consecutive run. So the south will go. I would keep 5, 6, 7 of some kind. 5, 6, 7, 8 even. And I would not pick a hand. The 1 will go. And probably even the dragons will go. So I would want to split out these dragons. So maybe do green dragon with a 9 crack and a south. So we have a wind, a dragon, and a number tile. Okay, so TJ's saying play the 3rd hand down under consecutive run on the right. We do have that hand in there, no gaps. That is true. But let's just wait and see what comes in because you never know. You don't have to pick a hand. Yep, you don't have to pick a hand yet. So we've got plenty of discards before we have to pick a hand. Okay, now we have a 6. So here's 5, 6, 6, 8, 5, 7. And we have tiles we can pass. You want to just keep an eye on the evolving hand, the developing hand. So here, for example, we have a 3. We do have a little potential for 3, 6, 9. We did give away a 9. So I'd probably let that go. Instead of passing 1, 2, I would probably do 1, 3 dragon. It's going to be pretty close to the same level of risk, but it's a little bit less risk than doing 1, 2. So that's what I'd let go of. Okay, so we're going to try not to pick a hand yet. We're going to stay flexible, and we're going to stay at the category level and gather for the range that we're in, which is 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're focused on the 5, 6. So we're focused on 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if we get a 4, we could do 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 7 even. And remember that we have a pair of flowers, so that could be helpful as well. All right, so now let's look at this. We have a 4 and a 6. And look what came in, an 8 dot. So we're going to reassess because a new multiple formed. Anytime a new multiple forms, you want to reassess. So we have 6, 8. We've got even potential in here now, where we didn't have that before. So we have 2, 6 bam, 6, 8 dot, 4, 6 in cracks. So even though that 6, 8 looks really strong, it looks good, it's weak because we don't have the right 2, 4 to go with it. So I wouldn't be distracted by that. I would not be distracted by that. And I think that 4, 5, 6, 7 is stronger than 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you consider the flowers, I think the flowers with 5 bam, 6 dot, 7 crack is the best way to go. There is another potential hand in here that we could do, and that is the chow hand. We could maybe do 2, 3, 4 in cracks with a 5, 6. Let's keep the 7. Floating pair hand, says Tracy. I would not consider that particular hand, I don't think. Let's see. And I see why you would, because of this 4, 5, 6, 7 with a pair of 5s. We don't have a 5 dot. That's a gap. We do have a hand in here with no gaps, and that should be the focus. So the focus should be 5 bam, 6 dot, 7 crack. Third hand down on the right. So that leads me to letting go of the 2 bam, the 8 dot, and now we sacrifice a tile. I would probably let the 5 crack go. Because again, we're focused on 5 bam, 6 dot, 7 crack. That's our hand with no gaps. This 6 crack is a discard. The 8 dot is a discard. And we have an option with 2, 3, 4 chow, 5, 6. And that is the 4th hand down under consecutive run. And it's weaker than 5. Let's see, this 6 bam, that's a discard. 5, 6, 7. We've got 6s, 8. So yeah, this is how I would do it here. Okay, so now we picked up a 2 dot, which is not helpful. We have a dragon and an east. I would just keep it going. Yep, I brought that up a few minutes ago, or a bit ago. There's the 2. So that helps with that chow hand, maybe. 2, 3, 4, crack, 5, 6. So here we've got 3 discards. So here's a south 6, 8. And this east is a discard. East 6, those are both discards. Let's just double check here because we do have a lot of evens in here. 2, 4, 6 crack, 6 dot, 8 dot, but we've got this 5 bam pair. That's a target for us. So we want to target that strength and the flower too. So we have 5, 6, 7 mixed suit, 3rd hand down on the right under consecutive run, or the 4th hand down with the chow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that is one tile stronger than the mixed suit hand, third one down. We want to have a 3 crack. We want a 3 crack or the 7 crack. Okay, so we didn't get either, but we did pick up that 5 again, which is really not helpful. So here, I'm going to put our discards to the right. We have an East pair, but it doesn't help us at all. So we have 6, 9 in one suit. I would want to pass fully here. So probably what I would do is let the 5 go and pass East 5, 9. It's a little bit risky, but I want to get another keeper if I can. So I'm willing to take the risk. And if you're thinking about joker bait with that East pair, winds were going around and it's way too early for joker bait. So I'd break it up. Also, joker bait success rate is less than 10%. Okay, so we're going to put our discards here to the left. There's a 9. So we have 5 discards and 2 potential hands. We actually have 7 discards if we play the chow hand. So we're going to be an underdog. We do have an extra tile though. So either way, we're still an underdog. We're going to let the East go. So we have 5 discards. So let's see if we can get some keepers. Yeah, we don't need a 1 dot. Well, we picked up a flower, which we need for both hands. So third hand down on the right, mixed suit, 5 bam, 6 dot, 7 crack with a Kong of flowers. And then we could do the fourth hand down, pung of flowers with a chow, 2, 3, 4 crack, 5, 6 dot. So let's see what's out. I like to let the year tiles go. So I'm going to discard this 2 bam. Okay, 9 dot came in. Not helpful. So let's let the 9 crack go. It's kind of arbitrary at this point. Yeah, red is already out. Okay, now that's a Kong for us and we're not ready. We're going to need a joker if we play 5, 6, 7. I'd probably just let it go at this point and focus on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that way we're not going to be tempted to Kong the flower. But we could hold on to this 7 crack for a while. Maybe we'll get a joker. So let's maybe pass, let's say the 9 dot next. It's always good to identify your next discard. It's one way to play faster. If you always anticipate your next discard, which could change because we could get a useless tile when we pick from the wall. That's not useless. That's a keeper. So let's discard the 9 dot. Okay, now we need that 3 crack in here. Okay, now this is where we might be tempted to Kong. I wouldn't, because there are 8 flowers. We can wait. We have the luxury of waiting because there are 8 flowers. We have 3. We could use jokers, but we could also still play one of 2 hands. One needs a pung, the other needs a Kong. So I say we let it go. I think our strongest hand is the chow hand, even though we have a vulnerability with that 3 crack, because that's a single tile and we can't call it. We got to draw it until we're ready to win. But I think we should wait on this, primarily because the 7 crack is out. Okay, 3 bam. We do not need that. I don't see it out there. Let's see, 6 crack. I see a lot of cracks out there. I don't see any 3s out yet. Let's let the 3 go. Okay, now they go. There they come. Okay, now here is where we have to make a choice. We could Kong. We could Kong or leave that for our pair. Oh, this is a tough choice. We're one good pick away from that Chow hand, though. I think I'd go for the Chow hand and Kong. Because we already need a joker for the 7. We could use the joker for the 5 and Kong that, but then we'd be left with nothing to help us with our 7. At least here, just one good pick and we'll be ready maybe to Kong that 5. I think I would call this and commit. We have 3 discards, which means we're a front runner. So I think we should do it. Let's see, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th round of discards. So this is within the begin game. And we're a front runner. So I think we should push to win. Let's Kong. So now the 7 is out. So let's let that. So we need a good pick here for our 5 bam. That's our pung. We're good to go. Oh, that's what we need. So one of our tiles is out. Oh, we have a little joker bait there. Okay. So 6 crack pair, 6 dot Kong over there. 6 cracks are not out yet. Look what we got. That's awesome. Okay, now 6 crack out of here. Oh, nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted the 6. Nice. Okay, we're ready on a 3 crack. 2, 3, 4 crack, 5 bam, 6 dot. The nice thing about this is a 3 crack was thrown and nobody took it. Now we have a 1 bam to our left and then a 9 bam across from us. There's some potential for 3, 6, 9 over here, maybe 1, 2, 3. So we may or may not see that 3 crack. Let's find out. Okay, now that 8 dot Kong, they don't need a 3. There it is. Mah Jongg. We got it. I like how you get a little applause in there. And by the way, did you look over here to the left? 1, 2, 3. They have a 3 crack. The player across from us was doing north, south 9. All right. So that's going to do it for this live stream. I hope you found it helpful. It was nice that we got to win a game. Any comments about passing defensively, taking your defense up a level, take it up a notch? Because you're focusing on offense and defense. You don't just focus on your own hand alone, because in that Charleston, you're giving tiles to your opponents. Those passes could be gifts. You don't want to be gift giving during the Charleston if you can help it. Sometimes it is unavoidable, but you want to mitigate the risk as best you can while still focusing on your own hand. Your hand is the priority, then you mitigate risk with what you have left over and do the best you can. Oh, thank you, Judy. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here today. Oh, thank you, Jackie. Glad you were here. And if you're watching the repost, thank you for watching my videos. Be sure to comment below the video. Let us know if you have any thoughts about what we talked about today. And we'll be back again next Tuesday, same time. I think we're going to talk about defense again next week. I think I'll have to look and see what the title is. I forget, but we're going to do 3 defense talks in a row. So this week was defense, and then next week will be defense, and the week after that. So we kind of do it in kind of a trio. So the topics in a trio. So we'll do 3 defense. So if you want to work on your defense skills, come on back next week. Oh, you're welcome, Tracy. So let's see, if you are a channel member, we'll be back again tomorrow for the channel member live streams between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 for Fanatics and Obsessed here. Then we'll be back on Thursday for the instructor edition, Learning Lab instructor edition. If you're an instructor, please join us on Thursday. And then, of course, we'll be here on Friday for the Simply Social Let's Play live stream, beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click that little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos or go live, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.